Coming up very shortly is the earnings report live debate with Elon Musk, Tesla. It's going to be a great evening. Join us very shortly. Coming up very shortly is the earnings report live debate with Elon Musk, Tesla. It's going to be a great evening. Join us very shortly. Coming up very shortly is the earnings report. Coming up very soon is the live earnings report debate with Elon Musk. Very excited to hear from him, and that'll be starting in 14 minutes from now. Good evening, all our guests starting to arrive now for the earnings live debate with Elon Musk, Tesla. Welcome Vapors Guide, and welcome all our members around the world. Should be a very interesting evening to hear from Elon Musk as we discuss and share together with the day trader. Welcome to the earnings live debate, earnings report with Elon Musk, Tesla. Be a great evening to hear what the man himself says, Elon Musk, on Tesla this evening. So sit back and relax, share this stream with your friends. Coming up very shortly, the earnings report live debate with Tesla. Okay, we're just waiting for the broadcast to begin with Elon Musk. Very, very exciting evening. And as soon as it starts, we will bring it to you. It is imminent now. It's an audio broadcast of Elon Musk, the Tesla Q4 and full year 2021 financial results and Q&A webcast. So it'll be starting soon. So right now we're just waiting for the event to begin. And this is a live debate with myself, the day trader, and all our family of traders. And we're very much looking forward to being with you this evening. As soon as it goes live, I shall bring it to you. And we're just waiting for it now to begin. As soon as we get the audio of Elon Musk, we will drop it in. We've just got some background music running at the moment, and as soon as it begins, we shall bring it to you. You won't miss anything. We're just waiting for it to start, and it can begin at any moment. We're just waiting for it to begin. If you've just tuned in, we're just waiting for Elon Musk to come live and share with us the earnings reports. And the moment it starts, we shall bring it to you. Welcome to the Day Trader. For our live feed, Lexus VIP 400, good luck everyone. Welcome to you. Welcome to all our members here this evening. Live Elon Musk debate. And we are waiting for Elon Musk to start to speak, and then we'll bring you the audio and have our debate this evening. It's going to be a very, very special evening tonight. Okay, here we go. We're now ready.
The highest operating margin in the industry in the last widely reported quarter at over 14% GAAP operating margin. Lastly, thanks to $5.5 billion of million, small finger by the mouth, $5.5 billion of GAAP net income in 2021, our accumulated profitability since the inception of the company became positive, which I think makes us a real company at this point. This is a critical milestone for the company. So after an exceptional year, we shift our focus to the future. Texas and Berlin. So we've begun production at both Texas and Berlin. We started that last quarter. But that's not the most important thing. We're focused more on when to get to volume production and when can we deliver cars to customers. But I think it is worth noting that we, and as the internet has observed, we've been making quite a few cars in Texas and Berlin. So in Boston and Berlin. So in Texas, we're building the Model Ys with the structural battery pack and the 4680 cells. And we will start delivering after final certification of the vehicle, which should be fairly soon. Capacity expansion will continue through maximizing output of each factory and building new factories in new locations in the future. Although we're not ready to announce any new locations on this call, but we will, through 2022, look at new locations and probably be able to announce new locations towards the end of this year, I expect. So in 2022, supply chain will continue to be the fundamental limiter of output across all factories. So the chip shortage, while better than last year, is still an issue. Yeah, so that's there are multiple supply chain challenges, last year was difficult to predict, and hopefully this year will be smooth sailing. But you know, not sure what you do for an encore to 2021, 2020. But nonetheless, we do expect significant growth in 2022 over 2021. You know, comfortably above 50% growth in 2022. Full self-driving. So over time, we think full self-driving will become the most important source of profitability for Tesla. It's, I mean, actually, if you run the numbers on robotaxis, it's kind of nutty.
Mandio, thank you for your comments. Keep them coming.
From a financial standpoint. And I think we're completely confident at this point that it will be achieved. You know, my personal guess is that we will achieve full self-driving this year.
Welcome all members and guests to the live debate.
With at a safety level significantly greater than a person. So, you know, the cars in the fleet essentially becoming self-driving by a software update, I think might end up being the biggest increase in asset value of any asset class in history. We shall see. It will also have a profound impact on improving safety and on accelerating the world towards sustainable energy through vastly better asset utilization.
Please leave your comments in the chat and drop a like to this video.
There's quite a lot to talk about.
Let's speak to the world tonight.
I'm not going to go through every sort of thing that we're working on because I think a lot of them deserve product launches of their own, as opposed to a few minutes on an earnings call. So I'll talk kind of at a high level. Yeah, mostly at a high level. The fundamental focus of Tesla this year is scaling output. So, you know, both last year and this year, if we were to introduce new vehicles, our total vehicle output would decrease. This is a very important point that I think a lot of people do not understand. So last year, we spent a lot of engineering and management resources solving supply chain issues, rewriting code, changing out chips, reducing the number of chips we need. That was chip drama central. And that was not the only supply chain issue. So there was just hundreds of things. And as a result, we were able to grow almost 90% while I believe almost every other manufacturer contracted last year. So that's a good result. But if we had introduced, say, a new car last year, our total vehicle output would have been the same because of the constraints, the chips constraints particularly. So if we'd actually introduced an additional product, that would then require a bunch of attention and resources on that increased complexity of the additional product, resulting in fewer vehicles actually being delivered. And the same is true of this year. So we will not be introducing new vehicle models this year. It would not make any sense because we will still be parts constrained. We will, however, do a lot of engineering and tooling and whatnot to create those vehicles, the Cybertruck.
Did Tesla sell Bitcoin? We will discuss that shortly.
Optimus. And be ready to bring those to production hopefully next year. That is most likely. But like I said, it is dependent on, are we able to produce more cars or fewer cars? In terms of priority of products, I think actually the most important product development we're doing this year is actually the Optimus humanoid robot. This, I think, has the potential to be more significant than the vehicle business over time. If you think about the economy,
Mandio, you're very welcome.
The foundation of the economy is labor. Capital equipment is distilled labor. So what happens if you don't actually have a labor shortage? I'm not sure what an economy even means at that point. That's what Optimus is about. So, very important. Let's see, Drew, do you want to talk about the 4680 program?
Sure.
Or is this good right the right time? Or?
Sure. Yeah. Sure. So throughout 2021, we focused on growing cell supply alongside our in-house 4680 effort to provide us flexibility and insurance as we attempt to grow as fast as possible. As we sit today, cells from suppliers is actually sort of exceeds our other factory limiting constraints that you mentioned, Elon, in 2022. Or to say differently, 4680 cells are not a constraint to our 2022 volume plans based on the information we have. But we are making meaningful progress up the ramp curve in Cato. We're building 4680 structural packs every day, which are being assembled into vehicles in Texas. I was driving one yesterday and the day before. And we believe our first 4680 vehicles will be delivered this quarter. Our focus on the cell, the pack, and the vehicles here is driving yield, quality, and cost to ensure we're ready for larger volumes this year as we ramp and next year. And the 4680 and pack tool installations here at Giga Austin are progressing well, with some areas producing first parts, and the internet has also noticed that. Yeah, I was touring the factory, the cell factory here yesterday. I'm super pumped. It's like a really exciting accomplishment for us to bring everything into one awesome factory here in Texas.
Absolutely. And just to repeat Drew's point, we still expect to be part or primarily chip limited this year. So that's the thing. That's actually the driver. And that chip limitation should alleviate next year.
Leave your comments in the chat.
And then probably
give us a thumbs up here on the video.
Cell limitation.
The mega factory we're talking about is just down the road from me.
Cell limitation, which is when the 4680 will become very important.
Agreed.
Welcome, Dr. Smith.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And now Zach has some opening remarks as well.
The long opening remark.
Yeah, thanks, Martin. As Elon mentioned, 2021 was a financially transformative year for the company. If we look across the full year 21 and compare that to 2020, our automotive gross margin, excluding credits, rose by over 600 basis points, enabled by work on cost reduction, utilization of our Shanghai factory for exports, and accelerating demand. OpEx as a percentage of revenue reduced despite the impact of one-time items and unique items, and operating income more than tripled, with operating margin reaching our guidance of mid-teens, and these margins are trending up. We also saw regulatory credits accounting for a relatively small portion of our 2021 profitability, which we expect to continue to reduce in materiality going forward. For Q4 specifically, automotive gross margin, excluding credits, increased to 29.2%, which is our highest yet. We do continue to see some impact of higher pricing on certain models and trims, as was the case in prior quarters, But please keep in mind that due to backlogs, changes in pricing will generally impact our financials in future quarters. Supply chain challenges and port congestion resulted in a significant increase in our expedite costs in Q4. We also took reserves associated with warranty and recall costs. Operating expenses were meaningfully impacted by stock-based compensation from the final 2 tranches of the CEO stock grant becoming probable and payroll taxes associated with the exercise of the 2012 CEO options. The total impact of these payroll taxes, warranty and recall costs, and excess expedites was just over $700 million in the quarter. Our free cash flows have remained strong, reaching record levels in Q4 of $2.8 billion, despite increased CapEx. In addition to using cash to grow the business as quickly as we can, we have been retiring legacy and high-interest debt. Note that we plan to continue to utilize the ABS market for product-specific financing. As we look forward, we expect 2022 to be another significant and exciting year for the company. We continue to drive for vehicle volume growth at or above 50%, as Elon mentioned, and our plans show that this is actually achievable with just our Fremont and Shanghai factories. For quite some time now, these factories have been running below capacity due to macro challenges with supply and logistics. As Elon mentioned as well, from what we're seeing, the pace of growth in 2022 will again be determined by supply chain and logistics, which is quite difficult for us to forecast. Despite these constraints, it's important to begin the ramp of Austin and Berlin to ensure that we are prepared once limitations ease, enabling us to increase total output more quickly in the future. This will result in higher fixed and semi-variable costs in the near term, in addition to the usual inefficiencies as we ramp a new factory. We are also seeing inflation and rising commodity prices, which we expect to continue to put pressure on our costs. How this specifically impacts gross margins in the near term is uncertain, given a mix of both tailwinds and headwinds. However, we do expect to continue to see stronger operating margins as we grow our volumes and improve operating leverage. Over a longer-term horizon, we are quite optimistic about the expansion of margins, though. From the hardware side, we are aggressively driving manufacturing innovations and operational efficiency to reduce cost. And with the rapid development of FSD, software-based profits will ultimately become a strong addition to the profits generated by selling hardware. So congratulations to the Tesla team for a terrific 2021, and thank you to our suppliers who supported us. Looking forward to another great year.
I'd like to just second the thank you to suppliers. A lot of suppliers work very late nights, weekends, vacations around the world, and we're very grateful for that.
Thank you very much. Let's go to the Q&A from the investor side. The first question was on 4680 cells, which we already answered. So let's go to the second question. How is the progress of the $25,000 compact car? Can you give an update?
Well, we're not currently working on that $25,000 car. At some point we will, but we have enough on our plate right now. Too much on our plate, frankly. So at some point there will be. But I think that's sort of a question that it's sort of the wrong question. Really, it's the thing that overwhelmingly matters is when is the car autonomous? At the point at which is autonomous, the cost of transport drops by, I don't know, a factor of 4 or 5.
Thank you. The next question from investors is, since we're talking product roadmaps today, how do you view domestic cooling and heating in the context of accelerating the sustainable energy transition? And how might Tesla's HVAC and heat pump advances fit it?
You want to talk about that, Drew?
I think from a mission perspective, it's very aligned. If you imagine replacing natural gas, water, and space heaters with electric heat pumps, it offsets something equivalent to like 80% of what a solar plus Powerwall system would offset. So it's very impactful. And we have learned a lot about how to make capable and reliable heat pumps that work in all environmental conditions, and are excited about the idea of working on that problem one day. We put it that way. It's definitely aligned with our mission to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy.
Yeah, I think it really becomes quite a compelling solution to the consumer where you integrate the electric vehicles, charging, solar, energy storage, hot water, HVAC, in a very tight, compact package that also looks good. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, the integration of those systems in a house,
That's Lars, by the way.
sorry, the integration of those systems in a house are no different than the integration of those systems in a vehicle.
Yeah.
The only difference is we do it all in a vehicle.
It's way harder than a vehicle.
And then
it's so constrained on mass and volume and energy. It's like you get to the house, you're like, wow, okay,
kind of easy problem.
yeah.
But, obviously those systems are all just disparate, and what we've been doing with the Powerwall and charging solar is integrating them more and more.
Yeah,
The next logical step is obviously HVAC and water and heating. So we will do that, and we will integrate it probably better than anyone has. But as you said, we have a lot of stuff on our plate.
Yeah.
So
And obviously it integrates with your phone and
Vehicle.
phone app and everything, and then the car can, the house can just heat and cool things because it knows you're coming home.
Yeah.
Type of thing. It just doesn't need to be like randomly that temperature when you're not there, or
when the cat moves.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So just do sensible things and just work really well. I think it'd be just quite a game changer down the road. We got a lot of fish frying on it, and so it is a thing we will do, but we're not committing to a time frame at this point.
And people should do it anyway.
Yeah, if somebody else wants to do it, we are. Yes, please.
Yeah, it's super beneficial for achieving the goal here.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is, would you consider splitting FSD packages into perpetual and term licenses with a higher tier for both options for commercial use? A perpetual license could be attached to individual or business and not the vehicle itself.
No, I mean, it sounds maybe too complicated. We're just going to be focused on what solves for the fully considered lowest cost per mile or kilometer of driving, and these are so that's what matters. Like how do we maximize the efficiency of getting people from one place to another, and then charge them in a sensible way,
Including the charging infrastructure. That's a big part of it.
yeah, exactly. Charging for money and charging for energy.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is Dojo on track for summer 2022? And what challenges, if any, are you working through? Is Dojo necessary for FSD to operate better in cities like New York City? Or on a separate note, where should we expect the first implementation of Tesla bots? In your factories?
Okay, there's a few questions in there.
Like 6 questions.
Yeah, Dojo appears to be on track for doing something useful in the summer of this year. I think the threshold that really matters is at which point, when does it become more competitive than a GPU cluster for training? And obviously the GPU cluster is getting better, so it's a moving target. But that's the goal I've set for the team is the FSD team running our GPU supercluster needs to tell me that they want to use Dojo instead. That's a obvious sort of threshold. I don't know when that will. It's I wouldn't say like success is 100% certain here. I think you would just generally want to overestimate eating options and underestimate ourselves. But it does seem as though we might pass that threshold next year with Dojo if we execute well. Dojo is not needed for full self-driving, but it is a cost optimization on training vast amounts of video data. Cost optimization also a rate of improvement so if you can train models faster and have a shorter iteration interval, then you can make progress faster. So, like not everything can be just distributed to a zillion GPUs. So there's some element of serialization there. So, and then if Dojo is competitive, then it does seem like the kind of thing where we would offer it to other companies that want to do neural net training. This is very much a neural net training optimized system. But in theory, it should be better than a generalized computing platform, or say GPUs, which were not really intended for the pixel shaders, not directly intended for optimizing training of neural networks. They just happen to work better than CPUs in most cases. So you can think of like Dojo as like a giant ASIC, optimized for neural net training, especially video or video-like things. But as like I said, we're not saying for sure Dojo will succeed. We think it will. We would encourage those who think this is an interesting problem to join Tesla. Yeah. So.
Thank you. And the first use of Tesla Bot, whether it's in the factory or elsewhere?
Yeah, the first use of the Tesla Bot, Optimus. The Optimus name seems to be sticking, at least internally. Optimus subprime. Yeah, like if we can't find a use for it, then we shouldn't expect that others would. So the first use of the Tesla Optimus robot would be at Tesla, kind of like moving parts around the factory or something like that.
Okay, thank you very much. And the next question on insurance. When do you plan on having your insurance service rolled out in all the states? International rollout timing in markets that have Tesla insurance, what kind of uptake rates are you seeing?
Yeah, we currently offer Tesla insurance in 5 states in the U.S. 4 of them are telematics, which is Texas, Illinois, Ohio, and Arizona. And then California, which has a more standard insurance offering based upon regulations there.
It should be clear, like we're pushing very hard for California to change the rules to allow informatics, which basically means that you're as safe as your driving is measured. So I think the current California rules are contrary to the best interests of the consumers in California, and should be changed.
Yeah, and that's evidenced by what we're seeing in Texas, where we've been in this market now for about 3 months. And what we see in the data is the frequency of collision by folks who are given a feedback loop on how they are driving is quite a bit lower than the frequency of collision otherwise.
Yeah, and we give people direct feedback on whether driving is safe. And if they drive safer, their insurance costs less, so they drive safer. It's great. It encourages Tesla insurance with informatics and real-time feedback, encourages safer driving and rewards it. I mean, monetarily, it's great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we see that so far in Texas. Take rates have been quite strong. We measure this on the conversion rate from when folks quote to see what their monthly rate would be at the starting point to what percentage of them purchase. So we're very encouraged by the interest that we're seeing in Texas. And then we've had enough history in Texas to see what does the loss ratios look like and how do the economics of the program work. And we're on the right track there as well. So we're comfortable with what we've seen in Texas to move as quickly as we can to scale this across the U.S. Specifically on the question about when we will be in all states, this is a slow process because of insurance being regulated at the state level. And so we have to go through each of those processes with each of the departments of insurance at each state. But our internal goal here by the end of the year is to be in enough locations that 80% of our customers within the U.S. could choose to sign up for Tesla insurance if they wanted to. There's a lot of uncertainty around that based upon the regulatory processes, but that's our goal. And then as we make more progress rolling out in the states and each incremental state becomes a little bit less effort than the prior, that's when we'll turn our attention to the Europe market. We might be able to do that by the end of the year, starting to get work on Europe by the end of the year. We'll have to see how we progress in the US.
Thank you. The next question is, what is your expected max capacity from each of your current factories, Fremont, Shanghai, Berlin, and Austin, and timing for new factory announcements?
I don't think we want to comment on that. That's it's always possible to increase the output of any given factory. So you say, well, what's the max capacity? Well, it's difficult to say what that max capacity is because if you put a lot of effort into it, you increase capacity quite a lot. I think looking at the big picture, you don't necessarily always want to increase capacity at one factory because your logistics costs of transporting cars needs to be considered, especially as the cars become more affordable. You want to have factories that are not like thousands of miles away from the customers. So even if you could increase output, it may not actually be the smart thing to do. So in the US, for example, with Giga Texas coming up, we would want to deliver, say, Model Ys that are going to the eastern 2/3 of the United States from this factory. The logistics costs are going to be much less. We will continue to increase output in Fremont and at Giga Nevada and in Shanghai and as I said at the beginning of the call, this 2022 is the year we will be looking at factory locations to see what makes the most sense, possibly with some announcement by the end of this year. Yeah.
Thank you. And the next question is, what are the biggest obstacles for Cybertruck volume production besides battery shortage?
Batteries will probably not be the limiting factor in Cybertruck production. There's a lot of new technology in the Cybertruck that will take some time to work through. And then there's a question of like, what's the average cost of a Cybertruck and to what degree is that affordable? You can make something infinitely desirable, but if it's not affordable, that will constrain people's ability to buy it because they simply don't have the money. I'd worry more about like, how do we make the Cybertruck affordable despite having all this awesome technology? That's the thing that will really set the rate. Aspirationally, we'd like it to, in terms of just a rough order of magnitude, we'd like Cybertruck to be at least on the order of 250,000 vehicles a year. But it'll take us a moment to get to that level.
Thank you. The next question is, how much of Tesla's margin improvement is from number one, economies of scale, number two, production line design efficiencies, number three, reduced transportation costs from multiple plant locations, and number four, pricing versus cost inflation, or number five, other sources? And how much further could margins improve and why?
Yeah, there's basically four major factors if we look over the last year to the margin improvement in the company. And they're in no particular order here, but these are the big ones. So our mix of Model Y is increasing as we've ramped that to higher capacity in Fremont and also in Shanghai. And the reason that matters is the Model Y is a vehicle that carries a higher profit than the Model 3. And so that is helpful on our margins. And then as we increase the volume on that program with labor efficiencies, fixed cost amortization, they improve and the costs go down as well. The second one here is localization in Shanghai has been a huge help for margins for the company. And, the obvious things around logistics and duties is a big part of it, but we've also, that factory had a different line design, more efficient from the start, and we've been pushing the boundaries on the volume there. So that has been helpful. If you recall at the beginning of the year, we also were in a transition to the new version of the Model S and Model X. And so as that has ramped over the course of the year, that has been helpful. And then we've also done various price increases in certain markets on certain models, which has helped there. So that's generally the story at a high level. As we look over the next quarter or two, as I mentioned in my opening remarks in the last call as well, we have rampant efficiencies from the launch of Austin and Berlin. We also have pressures coming from inflation, supply chain, raw materials, et cetera. And so, where that nets out is hard to say in the immediate term. And we obviously as a company are going to be driving to increase margins as much as we can. But I just want to be realistic that we're launching 2 factories simultaneously here, and it unavoidably will add cost to the business as we do that. And as we look further out, and Elon mentioned this in his opening remarks as well, the software portion of the business, I think, is the one to really pay attention to. As full self-driving features get rolled out to more and more folks. I mean, for me personally, I prefer to drive my car with the FSD beta on. I think as more and more people experience that, take rates there, and then as we work towards the robotaxi space, there's actually quite a bit of upside on margins from a software perspective.
Yeah, I think basically everything pales in comparison to the value of a robotaxi or full self-driving. Everything, that just tends to overwhelm everything. You just go from having an asset that has a utility of perhaps 12 hours a week for a passenger car to maybe around 50 or 60 hours a week. So 5x increase in the utility of the asset. The cost didn't change. So that's where just things just it's kind of blows your mind.
Thank you. And the last question from investors is, Elon mentioned level 4 autonomy could be achieved this year. Is it based off initial FSD beta rollout experience, or is level 4 ability predicated on Dojo being complete and online?
As mentioned earlier, Dojo is not required for full self-driving. It should have a positive effect on the cost of training networks. It's not just a question like does you get to full self-driving, but really it's kind of like the march of nines of reliability. Is it 99.999% reliable or 99.999999%? This gets nutty. So we obviously want to get to as close to perfection as possible. Frankly, being safer than a human is a low standard, not a high standard. People are very, very lossy, often distracted, tired, texting. Anyway, it's remarkable that we don't have more accidents. So so actually being better than human, I think is relatively straightforward, frankly. How do you be 1,000% better or 10,000% better? That's what that's much harder. But I think anyone who's been in the FSD beta program, I mean, if they were just to plot the progress of the beta in interventions per mile, it's obviously trending to, a very small number of interventions per mile, and pace of improvement is fast. And there are several profound improvements to the FSD stack that are coming, the next few months. So, yeah, I would be shocked if we do not achieve full self-driving safer than a human this year. I would be shocked.
Thank you. Let's go to analyst questions now. And the first question comes from Jed from Canaccord. Jed, feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question.
Hi, thanks. And congratulations on a great year. Elon, I guess my question's around the Megapack or your energy business. And so as we look at the strategy or the supply chain constraints that you mentioned, you have two different strategies, or it seems like, with Megapack and Powerwall. And I think the Powerwall was answered with 4680 and the 2170 opening up. So I was wondering if you could just talk about the supply chain and LFP for the Megapack and what we should expect for that.
Yeah, to be clear, we do think that all stationary storage, Powerwall and Megapack, will transition to an iron-based system, basically a non-nickel system. Manganese is also, could be part of the future, but primarily iron. It just comes down to iron, nickel. You need something that is formed in a star before a supernova, ideally. So, iron is. So there's a ridiculous amount of iron on Earth, as well as a ridiculous amount of lithium. So, so you can really expect all stationary storage to transition to iron over time, and like I said, with manganese is like a wild card. It's also less manganese. And I should say, like, we did shortchange the energy business last year, in that vehicle took priority over the energy side. So
Not on cells, but on chips.
On chips, exactly. Yeah. We do see a very, long-term, probably terawatt-hour per year energy business. Yes. So a lot. It's very vast. Yeah.
That's helpful. Thank you. So you see that 22 is kind of the opening of that the energy business reaccelerating.
It's hard to predict 2022 because we still have lingering supply chain. There are still lingering supply chain issues globally. But I think the chip stuff, at least the chip side of things, appears to looks like it will alleviate end of this year or 23. I mean, there are a crazy number of chip fabs being built, which is great. The sheer number of chip fabs being built right now is exciting to see. Yeah. So, but there could be other issues. We're trying to anticipate those as much as possible, but predicting the future is difficult.
And the goal is definitely to grow it this year.
Yeah. It'll grow this year, yeah, for sure. It just, if we're simply if we're able to respond to demand, it might grow by like 200 or 300% or something, as opposed to sort of 50% or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's exactly that. I mean, it's a question of, does it double, triple, quadruple? I mean, either way, I think our plans are pretty ambitious for Megapack this year, and storage in general.
Yeah.
The exact amount of growth is hard to know. But ultimately, I mean, to Elon's point about the growth of this business, I mean, we need to be growing it faster than the vehicle business.
It will
Yeah.
actually grow faster than the vehicle business. Once we can alleviate the
Yeah.
damn chip constraint, frankly. So it will grow like kelp on steroids, basically, down the road. It needs to. Our primary mission is to accelerate sustainable energy. That's always been our primary mission, and we're trying to stay true to that.
Thank you. The next question comes from Ben Kalo from Baird.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. I was wondering on the R&D front, because like you said, you have so many fish frying. How do you organize the R&D, efforts, so that you can, start talking about all these new products? Is there like an incubator or some type of thing like that? But just structurally, I'm curious about that. Thank you.
We don't have incubators.
Or research centers.
We don't have research centers.
No.
We're in it. Yeah.
We work on things that go into our products.
Yeah, we're like, this is a useful product that the world really needs, and we're just like, let's make this thing, design it up and iterate fast and then figure out how to make this at scale at a reasonable price. That last part is the super hard part. Many times I've said prototypes are easy, production is hard. If we could whip out a zillion prototypes, but what's the point of that? You actually reach scale production and have cash in exceed cash out. That's the super hard part. So
everybody needs to be in the factory often enough to be able to understand that last part of the equation.
Yeah.
And if you're in a research center,
yeah, I mean, doing them separately is like innovation for actually making products. So we don't think of it as R&D and then like the product development. It's just one fucking go. Sorry. One go to just make great products.
There's just in general, societally, there's way too much value placed on the idea. It's like, like the idea, everyone who, like, can have the idea of going to the moon. That's not the hard part. Okay, going to the moon is the hard part, by far. And the thing is that is true for really most products. So there's just way too much value placed in the idea of versus execution. We have ideas, we have a bazillion ideas. More ideas than we know what to do with. We have to sort through them and say, which one are we actually going to go through the blood, sweat, and tears of bringing to volume production? That's the super, and then actually do that. That's tough. So.
And the closer you are to applying blood, sweat, and tears to actual production, the faster you'll be able to bring new things into actual production.
Yeah, exactly. So, you want a tight feedback loop with production.
Yeah.
That's like the office we're sitting in right now literally looks over the Giga Texas production line. Like the offices are integrated into the factory.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question comes from Tony Sacconaghi from Bernstein.
Yes, thank you for taking my question. I have two, please. First, you spoke a lot about FSD and how the economics could be very attractive going forward. I'm wondering if you could just share what your current attach rate might be for FSD on your vehicles, or how to think about the progress of your attach rate or revenue in FSD, let's say in 21 versus 20, and how much deferred revenue for FSD was drawn down during the year. And I have a follow-up, please. Thank you.
I think the FSD stuff, you really don't want to be looking in the rearview mirror. It will not be a good indicator for the future. This is what you need to look out the front windscreen. Because it is such a profound step change. I mean, effectively, long term, every car will have FSD. you know, so, and the value of that will be a very big number. You know, it's like, if you just look at this as asset utilization, and you have a passenger car, which normally is driven maybe 1.5 hours a day on average, maybe 10 hours, 12 hours a week. A lot of cars in parking lots. You know, so we're spending money not just driving the cars, but storing them all over the place. We can get rid of a lot of parking lots if you have a car that is operating all the time. There will be a challenge with traffic. So, you know, got like this little tiny baby company, the Boring Company, which I initially started as a joke, and now, but now it's, I think it actually could be quite essential to alleviating the insane traffic that will happen when cars are autonomous, because you reduce the pain of travel and you reduce the cost of travel so dramatically that there will be a crazy number of cars on the road. I mean, it's going to be, I think it's way cheaper to go point to point with a robotaxi, which is an autonomous Tesla, which every car we've made in the past 3 or 4 years will be capable of that, than a bus or a subway. It'll cost less than the subsidized value of a bus ticket. So people are not going to take the bus. You know, if it costs you, I don't know, for argument's sake, you know, $2 to travel 10 miles point to point, nobody's taking the bus, especially in cold weather or it's dark or maybe a little bit dangerous, or the hell with that, you know, door to door. People just do not understand how profound a change this is. It's not like some little feature. It's like the most profound software upgrade maybe in history. Millions of cars suddenly have, what, 4 or 5 times the utility than they used to have overnight. I don't actually know how to quantify that financially, except that it's some big number.
Okay, thank you for that. Elon, I was wondering if I could just follow up and ask you, you talked about your product roadmap and also your goal to keep growing at 50% per year or better. That would put you at 3.2 million vehicles or more in 2024. And I think you made reference to Cybertruck, you know, maybe being 250,000 vehicles. If there is no $25,000 vehicle being worked on, is it really realistic to think that you can sell more than 3 million vehicles with 2 very high volume cars and Cybertruck in 2024? Or how do we think about that, or what else is missing in that equation?
Yeah, I mean, it is apparent from the questions that the gravity of full self-driving is not fully appreciated. You know, if an asset has 5 times more utilization than it's like dividing the cost of that asset by 5. So if you have a $50,000 car, it's like having a $10,000 car all of a sudden. But maybe better than that, because still you don't need anyone to drive. So the person can be engaged in productivity or amusement instead of having to, you know, onerously drive through traffic. So it's probably better than 5 times. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, basically, if the cost of our cars did not change at all, we would still sell as many as we could possibly make.
Thank you. And the next question comes from Pierre Ferragu from New Street Research.
Hey, thank you for taking my question. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
I wanted to come back on batteries. So it's great to hear on one hand that you guys expect to sell like the first cars with 4680 this quarter, and at the same time that you don't really depend on that ramp to achieve your what you hope to achieve in terms of significant volume growth this year. And the question I had is, you know, I understand well the ramp at 4680 internally, but I'd be curious to hear you talk about how you think about 4680 as being a form factor that your suppliers could adopt as well, and how you see in the long run, in the greater scheme of things, you know, what does 4680 become? Is it going to be outside of Tesla the largest form factor for batteries? Is it something that you guys are going to deploy in all cars, whatever the chemistry, also in the Megapack, in all your energy storage business? And do you expect eventually a lot of other companies to use that form factor as well?
Yeah, on the 4680 as a form factor, yes, we've engaged with a number of our partners, our suppliers on the form factor, and they're all working on it. And they look at it the way we look at it, as a way to drive fundamental cost efficiencies in production, and also ultimately the design of the cell itself to drive the cost down of the cell. And so that's what's engaged. I mean, we're engaged because we think it's a good form factor. They're engaged because they think it's a good form factor, and we want people to make it for sure. To the question about should everything be 4680, it doesn't have to be. In the end, it's about cost competitiveness, scalability of manufacturing. And when you compare like a iron cell with a nickel cell, for example, like there are some just physics-based differences in what happens in certain corner cases that would drive different form factors, and we just have to be cognizant of that and design to that. So it isn't like the ultimate form factor for all things. There's other form factors that could be better for an iron cell, for example. So
yeah, we don't use 4680 at all for the iron set-based cells.
No.
Okay, thanks. And I have a quick follow-up on chips. So you've talked a lot about all this shortage and these supply difficulties. And I was wondering if you could give us some color on, like the power chips you need for inverters and all the power systems you're putting together versus like the more traditional logic chips, if the situation is different between the two. And should we understand from the situation today that you're working very hard also at expanding the scope of your suppliers? And should we expect like Tesla to take on board additional suppliers in the near term, especially on the power side?
Well, last year was chip hell of many chips. So silicon carbide inverters were certainly one of them, but
honestly, there's a lot of annoying, very boring parts.
Yeah. It's a ton of very simple control chips that run of the mill, literally, yeah, basic chips to control
voltage references, oscillators, just like very boring things.
Yeah, exactly. Like the little chip that allows you to move your seat back and forth. It actually was a big problem.
Yeah,
couldn't make seats. So I like, but a lot of these things were alleviating. I think there's some degree of the toilet paper problem as well, where there was a toilet paper shortage during COVID, and like obviously it wasn't really suddenly a tremendous enhanced need for ass wiping. It's just people panicked and ordered and got every paper product you could possibly wipe your ass with, basically. And I wasn't sure, is this like a real thing or not? I actually took my kids to the HEB and Walmart in Texas to just confirm that this is real. Indeed, it was. And there was plenty of food and everything else, but just nothing, no paper products that didn't cause a splinter. So an odd choice for people to panic about. Mm-hmm. If the end of the world's coming, I think toilet paper is the least of your problems.
Yeah.
So I think we saw just a lot of companies overorder chips and they buffer the chips. And so we should see, and we are seeing alleviation in almost every area, but the output of the vehicle is goes with the least lucky, whatever the most problematic item in the entire car is, and there's like at least 10,000 unique parts in the car. So, way more than that if you go further up the supply chain. And so it's just which one is going to be the least lucky one this time? It's hard to say.
Yeah. I mean, on a go-forward basis, right, the idea is to continue to drive simplification. So there are fewer unique parts, fewer of them. On the power side in particular, it's still like an area of like technological development where, the next chip can do the same thing with less die area. So like the total fab required to accomplish the function goes down. So there's still room to grow without needing more fab capacity. But in general, there's a lot more fab capacity coming. So that's like a win-win there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a long-term thing because there's going to be there's a crazy amount of chip fabs being built, which is great.
Well, thank you very much. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for this session. Thanks very much for all your good questions, and we'll speak to you again in 3 months' time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
There we go. What an evening. What do you make of that, Elon Musk and the team? Let's have a conversation, shall we? What do you all think? Very, very interesting evening. Lot there to talk about. We won't labour on too much here right now, but let's have a brief discussion. I think it would be very, very interesting to do so. Elon Musk, I just love the way he's so confident about the future, new ideas, new approaches. It's what makes Tesla and Elon Musk so different than the rest. I absolutely love it. I don't even know where to begin. I feel that hearing everything that's been said tonight makes me feel like buying some more Tesla shares in the morning. It really does. We run a poll tonight asking you what you think about the whether you think that the shares will pop. It seems like 62% of you think it will pop in the morning. 24 votes. Yes, it is the future. There's no question about it. We are a little bit short on likes tonight, but I tell you what, that was a great stream for us. We're such a new channel, small channel. Did you see all the subscribers pop up throughout the show? That was nice to see. Lots of new people coming in. So this was a new experience tonight. We've never done a live earnings call before. It was very funny at the beginning of the evening. Someone told me to be shush and shut up. Let's just listen to Elon, and I respect that. I thought for a moment, well, should I shut up because there are loads of channels streaming this? I'll be different. I'll keep interjecting, but I decided to sit back and wait till the end. So maybe that was right. Who knows? I think this stock is going to be the future. I think it's going to be the biggest company in the world. It's not just cars. I've been saying this for a long time. There's so much more. The cars are the smallest part. In fact, it was nice that Elon said that tonight. He said that the energy sector will blitz the cars. So that's nice to hear him say that. Beetle Sean also said, yes, this is the future. They don't really talk about it much, Julia. Definitely not this year. What did Julia say? Julia says, sorry, Chat, I missed some of the debate. Did they say that the 25,000 car has been delayed? Julia, they just said they're not interested in it. They're not focused on it. It's something they're interested in, but they're just not focused on it. They don't see it's their most important thing. They feel that the cars, the expensive cars that they're producing, because they're not cheap cars, are so much more than a car. That's one thing Elon was sort of getting at. There's so much more than a car. The fact that the Cybertruck is your generator to your house. If you buy a Cybertruck, it can power your house in a power outage. So think of that. How much might you spend? $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 on a decent power source? You don't need one. You just have a Cybertruck. So even though you're paying a lot more for these cars than you would be for the $25,000 car, you're getting battery backup, you're getting so much more technology. They're thinking that the car now is going to be an extension of your office. They think that fully self-driving will be here this year. They think that'll be here this year, fully self-driving. So you get in your car and it takes you to work. You're working while you're driving. I mean, you're not even driving anymore. So they feel that, you know, your car is now your office. It's now your it's your power station for your house. So if you think of it that way, you buy a Tesla and it powers your house. It becomes your portable office, drives itself. Maybe you see it as a second home. I mean, you know, maybe it changes the whole concept. We don't need a $25,000 car. It's not a throwaway item anymore. It's something you keep. Maybe that's the idea. Yeah, but Elon needs a new battery when he talks. He's very laid back, isn't he? He's very laid back, but that's what I love. He's not a typical CEO. He's not just thinking about money. He couldn't care less about money. That's what I love. He's not a typical CEO just trying to make money. He actually wants to do good. This is what I love about what Elon Musk stands for. Everything he does is phenomenal. Right, I want to get all your opinions now. So let's quickly run and then let's come straight back. See you back in 10 seconds from now. There you go. So we're back now, and I want your opinions. If you want to call in tonight, remember, for all members of this channel, you can actually call in to the show and be part of the show. If you want to call in and be part of the show, you can. This is the interview screen that you can be on. If you want to call in, you can be in here in this little spot here. And if you want to call in and make your feelings known about Tesla tonight, you can call in. Here is the call-in button. It's for members only. If you're not a member to the channel, this isn't open to you. You can become a member, but it's bit.ly/Martyn Live. If you'd like to talk to me tonight about Tesla, if you want to come in and be part of the show, just put that into your browser on your phone, on your iPad, your computer. As long as you've got a microphone and a microphone and a camera, you can be on. Members only, please. If you want to call in, you can. Here is the all links button. If you want to follow us on Twitter, if you want the call-in button, all those great things, or if you want to be a member of the channel, you can use this link here. You can join right now and call in. It is members only. We are a members only channel. Most of the benefits are for members only. To keep the channel clean and good. All right, he used to sleep in his office to get Tesla to take off. Yeah, he's a great man, absolutely. Totally agree. Yeah, I remember watching the documentary that he'd say he wasn't even bothered, he'd sleep on the floor. That's someone who's just committed to change, someone who's committed to great ideas. And like I said, who cares wins. And I feel the same. I feel the same about all of you. And I think Elon's principles and ideas just blow the competition out of the water. That, you know, not even close to any other competition at all. I think the market will open high tomorrow. I think it will, but of course, at the moment, it's not about earnings reports. It's about the rest of the market right now. The really big explosive times for Tesla will be later on this year, on the next quarter, when things start to get back to normal and we see the markets returning to a more normal state. I think we're in for almighty rise. I think we're going to see Tesla, go up to the sort of Amazon level, $3,000-$4,000 a share. I totally believe that. Totally believe that. So we're looking at a 400% increase in where we are today. So this is what I've always said. It's not about price. It's not about price, and it shouldn't be about price. It's about the value. I would just like to know what was privy to enable him to bring such transformational technology together. Just like to know what he was privy to enable him to bring such transformational technology together. That's a good question, that. That's a good question. I think the reason for that is I think Elon Musk thinks differently to most of us. He thinks about where he wants to be, not where the world is now. He asks challenging questions. And I know I bang on about it a lot about other companies, but most companies, most CEOs are driven by profit, are driven by money, are driven by the status quo, keeping other people happy. He couldn't care less whether you like him or not. He couldn't care less whether you like his cars or not. He's even said he doesn't care if everybody copies him, as long as the whole world goes to sustainable energy. Can you imagine another company doing that? He has open, open patents on his products. He wants you to copy him. Other companies don't behave this way. They're just thinking of themselves, what's in it for them, and so on and so forth. Elon Musk is a totally different animal. He has watched a lot of Star Trek, as did Steve Jobs. Yeah, he dreams of the future. I feel the same way. I'm already on Mars. I'm already done. I already think, what is the purpose of life? We just try to solve more problems until we die. I mean, what is that? You know, what is that? Why are we wasting time just fixing today's problems so one day we die? Why don't we go out into the next universe? Why don't we push new ideas? Think of the world being a better place. I think that's really where the world is at. And it's just lovely. And I love that. Vapor's Guide, he has watched a lot of Star Trek, as did Steve Jobs. Well, I want to thank everyone tonight for being part of this. It's the very first time we did a live earnings call like this with the audio, just sitting in listening. You bought more space, Dad G. Welcome, Dad G, to the party. We're just wrapping up, but we've got a guest. Let me say hello. Perhaps he's privy to the meaning of life, Martyn, and that's what drives him. There you go. I think so. I think it's just he questions things. Elon Musk doesn't accept what anyone tells him. He just questions things. Would everybody do me a favor? Let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we can do this right now. Because tonight we've done something different. You've been with me all day. I'm going to go now. My dinner's ready. My wife's been extremely understanding. It's Daniel Diaz. There we go. He watches the day trader. That is why he is so smart. There you go. He watches the day trader. Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if Elon Musk has been running in the background. Muzanella, big trader. He says, I have you on. I've got multiple screens while I trade, and I have you in the background with your audio on. Just there, talking away in the background. There you go. Maybe that's what it is. He's watched the day trader, and now he's inspired for life. So let's try and do something, guys. Let's try and do something, shall we? Just for a minute. We've got the... let me just change the screen a minute. There we go. We gained, look at that, everybody. We gained a load of subscribers during tonight's show. Absolutely incredible. What a night. We've never done, all my channels blown up tonight. We've never done a situation like this with a Tesla or any earnings call. It's been very interesting. The chat is blew up. Can everyone do me a favor? Let's see, just for a moment, if you can copy and paste and drop some comments in. Let's see if we can get a nice chat rate. This has been quite a special evening tonight for me. I've just been chilled out, sat here, relaxed, listening, and it's been an incredible evening. Something big happened to me today. Dr. Smith, share. Share. What? Let me bring it on the screen. What happened? What happened, Dr. Nathan Smith? Tell me what it is. Something big happened to me today. We want to know. We want to know. Everybody, say we want to know. Blow up the chat. Hang on. Or tell us. Hang on, let's do it right now. Tell us. Okay, let's celebrate. Tell us, Doctor. Hang on a minute. He's dropped something in there. Let's get the chat rate going. Tell us, Doctor. Okay, copy and paste that. Let's have a blow-up night tonight. We've never done a night like this before. Everybody tell us, Doctor. Copy and paste. It only works if everyone does it. If it's only me, it doesn't work. Tesla is on the up. Forget about all the copy and V's. It does that sometimes. So let's have a look. Let's have a talk to the doctor. He sent me a link. Let's have a look. Open it in a new chat. Okay, open in a new tab. Let's have a look. Let's bring it in. We've got some information here today. Tell us, Doctor. Everyone's getting involved. Dr. Smith, member of the family. That's what we're all about. Let's bring it in. Let's bring it in. Let's bring it in. Let's bring up some screens. There we go. We'll bring that up for a minute. Not to confuse everyone. Blow up the chat rate. Yep. Okay. Here it is. AA honors out. Oh, check it out. Right. We have to have the chat rate up. We have to blow the record up because we've got a very big announcement to make, and I'm not going to show everybody until we have. Right, the chat rate, the record, we broke it tonight, is 78. We did 78 earlier on today. So, chat rate has got to go past 78. Everyone go mad, and I'm going to blow up. I'm going to show you Dr. Nathan Smith's chat, what he's put in here. He's got a very special breaking news for you. It's all the family. You want to see it. So let's do it. Show us Doctor in the live chat. Come on, everybody. If every single person does it, everyone's got to do it. I will share with you his news. But I want to see the chat rate go over 78 before we do it. So copy and paste. Everyone do it. Let's blow up YouTube. Come on. Knock it in. Tell us, Doctor. And I'll blow it up for you. Chat rate 80. No, it's 22. Let's get chat in. Come on. I've got it here. He's just sent me a. I've got the link. Doctor. I'm going to show everybody, but they've got to earn it. This is big news for you, which means it's big news for us, and we want to share it. But I can't share it until we get over. We need 79. So copy and paste, and I'll do it. If everyone does it, it'll work. All of a sudden, the chat rate will jump. You ready? Leah in the other room, tell us. Doctor, he's promoting his own. He's promoting his own chat. I love it. Congratulations. It's really good news. It's huge news. And but I'm not going to bring it to you until the chat rate goes to 79, which is the record. And by the way, it will go in a second. It will refresh. But if I'm the only one doing it, they are at 24. It's moving. All of a sudden, it will pop up if everyone is doing it. If I'm the only one, it won't work. He's got some really big news. You want to see it. Come on. It's huge news. 20. Oh, come on, guys. What's going on? You've all got to do it. All right. I tell you what, it's too big a news. We've got to, we haven't. Oh, it's going now. It's starting to move now. There we go. I'm committed. It'll pop up now. We won the biggest profit of the portfolio today. No, much better than that. It's massive news for the Doctor. We love it. I can already see it. I'm looking at it. 38. There we go. Starts to move. All right. Come on, chat. Right. I'm going to do it. I think you're tired. I think you're more impressive than Tesla talk. Yeah, of course it is. We are more impressive than Tesla. We always are. Everything on this channel. We're going to be, I reckon we're going to be one of the biggest YouTube channels in the world, folks. You've got people like, what's his name? PewDiePie. Got nothing on this. The engagement. Oh, there we go. 50 now. Here we go. Start to move. All right, I'm going to bring it in now. You deserve it. All right, I'm going to bring it in now because you deserve it. All right, okay, here we go. Let me drop it down here. All right, okay, here we go. This is... just reading it. Just reading it now. I'm just trying to find the doctor. Dr. Smith, Dr. Nathan Smith, where are you on this? I know you're here. Is your name found here? Hang on. It's not in alphabetical order. That makes it hard, doesn't it? But I'm determined to find it. He sent me some very, very good news. Anthony, no. They haven't put it all in alphabetical order, have they? Blimey. I want to get to his name. How long a list is this? Oh, it's there's thousands in this list. Hang on. Sorry, Dr. Smith. Click the link on Fellows. Okay. I've done that. Okay, I've done that. And then tell me he's on the wait list to receive his Tesla. I tell you what, I'm going to bring it on the screen and then Dr. Smith will tell me, right, he'll tell me where it is because there's a big list here. So let me start from the beginning. Let me do this right. Okay. Let me go. All right. This is a big deal. Right. Here it is, everybody. Go to Neuro. Okay, here we go. Let me clear the screen. AAAS honors outstanding scientific contributors as 2021 AAAS Fellows. All right, today, 26th of January 2002. And we can already guess Dr. Nathan Smith has been, is an AAS Honors Outstanding Scientific Contributor. Dr. Nathan Smith, fantastic. So here we go. Washington, D.C., the American Association for the Advancement of Science, the world's largest general scientific body and publisher of the science family of journals, is announcing the election of a standout group of individuals across scientific disciplines to the newest class of AAAS Fellows. Among the most distinct honors within the scientific community, AAAS is proud to bestow this honor to these newly awarded fellows in recognition of their scientifically and socially distinguished achievements in the scientific enterprise. Hey, this is fantastic. Right, so what do? I go here to full list of fellows, right? Tell me where to go, and then go to Neuro. Okay, I click on that, and then go to Neuro. So where do I go now? Tell me where I go now. I'm on this page. Section of agriculture. Section on anthropology. Section on astronomy. Section on, oh, this is in alphabetical order, I hope. Scroll down. You should have told them you're going to be on the Day Trader, and they should have made a special page. Chemistry, dentistry, education, engineering, okay, neuro. And this is in alphabetical order now. They're now thinking, right. Medical, M. We go to neuro. Neuroscience, is that right? We got a neuroscience. Okay. Hey! Look at that, everybody. Nathan Anthony Smith. Let's scroll in. Children's National Hospital, George Washington University of School Medicine and Health Services. Dr. Nathan Anthony Smith, our very own Dr. Nathan Anthony Smith. Everybody tonight who didn't tune in to the Day Trader is missing out this occasion. I love it. This is what this channel and this family is all about. Celebrating We had Robert Durant earlier saying he spends more time with us than he does his own wife, and she had to watch us while she was having her eyes examined tonight. He had to phone while she was having her eyes tested. That's what we're all about, and we're all about tonight celebrating Dr. Nathan Smith. Come on, everybody, big round of applause. He's been recognised. I knew he was a superstar. Have I not been saying for ages that Dr. Nathan Smith is a superstar? There we go. There. Let's ring the bell. Let's blow the horn. Let's do the glockenspiel. Let's do the triangle. There you go. Congratulations. We love it. Dr. Nathan Smith from Children's National Hospital, George Washington University School of Medicine and Health Sciences. There he is, our very own Dr. Nathan Smith. We love it. We love you, mate. Well done. Congratulations to you. And thank you for wanting to share that with us. Thank you. I bet he did that. I'll tell you now, I bet when he found out, he thought, right, I've got to tell my wife, hang on a minute. No. The first thing I got to do is go on the day trader. The first thing I got to do is go on the day trader, tell my family on the day trader, and then I can tell my wife. So there you go. Anyway, Dr. Nathan Smith, thank you very much for sharing. Congratulations to you. Thanks for giving me a really hard time. You couldn't just give me look, all these different sciences. You couldn't just give it like, next time you're going to get an award like this. Can you tell the people of the AAS Honours, can you tell them, please? We've got on the live show, can they actually build you your own page on their website? Everybody else is not important. They're not on the day trader. They can just scroll through on their phones, whatever. But you are more important than everybody else. You are the doctor of the day trader. You need your own page. All right. So next time you get an honours like this, can you have a little word with those people at the honours, outstanding scientific contributors as of 2021 AAS Fellows Club, that you need your own page. All right. There we go. Fantastic. We all shared it. We all supported him. Now it's time for me to go. I've been sat in this chair for 20 hours and the doctor's in a minute going to tell me off and tell me I shouldn't be here. But anyway, thank you very much indeed. Thanks for all the super chat tonight. Sat here extra. Didn't get any, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. We gained 8 subscribers. So I'll live on that. So no super chat for me, but what a great night it was indeed. Go eat. I know, I'm off. My dinner's out there. I'll see you back in the morning. Let's make some money with Tesla. And I can't wait to tell the miserable buggers that never joined us tonight for our special that Dr. Nathan Smith is now an outstanding fellow of 2021. We'll tell him in the morning. Dave Mottram, miserable bugger. We'll tell him in the morning. You missed it all. You missed it all. All right, folks, that was a special night. That was the Tesla live debate. Good job. Good job. There you go. Look at that. Dr. Nathan Smith gave me a tip. You didn't need to give me a tip, but I'll take it. It's all right. It's all right. I'm not a recognised fellow. All I have is my day trader, so I'll take it all day long. Thank you ever so much. Appreciate it a lot. Oh, look at that. There you go. Dr. Nathan Smith popped in a chat there, $4.99. Thank you ever so much. I'll see you when that disappears. There it goes. I'll see you back in the morning. Wonderful. Have a lovely evening, Doctor. Celebrate. I'm sure all your family are proud of you. Of course they're proud of you. They were proud of you before you won it. We've always known what a great guy you are. There you go. Thanks ever so much, mate. I'll see you back in the morning. Take care of yourselves. Did you say it? Are you saying? I'm listening. Take care of yourselves. One more time. I want to see it in the chat, please. Take care of yourselves and each other. See you in the morning. Yes, much better. Surprise!